Hello students, good morning. In a previous lecture, we have discussed about the payment of GST. Now we will discuss the interest payment. If the register supplier fails to pay the GST on time, then he will be liable to pay interest. So, for example, if any register supplier's outward GST liability is say 1,50,000 and already he is having the input tax credit of say rupees 70,000, then 1,50,000 minus 70, that means the interest will be applicable on 80,000 rupees for every delay in the payment of GST. So the register supplier can claim input tax credit to reduce the tax liability, and if he fails to pay the GST on time, then on that net GST liability interest will be calculated. So interest rate is 18% per annum, simple interest rate. But if any register supplier, if he has taken or she has taken any excess ITC credit, then it will be 24% per annum. So the GST authority has given permission for the sales self assessment of tax as well as the self assessment for input tax credit, but they will do the scrutiny of your outward GST liability and your input tax credit claim, and if they found any discrepancies, then you will have to pay interest along with the penalty charges. So now we will discuss about the interest. Now the interest has to be calculated from the next day on which tax was due. So normally the tax is payable on every 20 for a particular every on or before the 20th day of the next month. So if you have collected any GST during the month of January, then the due date for the payment of GST is on or before 20th February. So 20th February is the last date. For example, a taxpayer fails to make a tax payment of rupees 10,000 for the month of December 2020, where the due date was 20th January 2021. If he makes the payment on 20th February, that means 1 month late, that is around 31 days. If you compute from the 21 days of the January till the 20th February, so the total delay period is 31 days. So the GST, as we have discussed, the interest will come as a 10,000 into 31 divided by 365 days at the rate 18%, because 18% for the entire year. So for 31 days it will come 153 rupees. Now say this, the next question is, Mr. Kalpesh registered in state of Maharashtra. He provides the following details for the month of July. Now calculate the net tax liability for the month of July. Opening balance in electronic credit ledger as on 1st July is, these are the credits available: IGST 3,78,000, CGST 4,72,070, and SGST 5,68,020. Now transactions during the month: sold goods at the rate 28% GST to Anil in Pune, sold goods at the rate 5% GST to Ashay in Nagpur. So these all are the outward supplies. Sold goods at the rate 12% to Rakesh in Surat, sold goods at the rate 18% to Meena in Chennai, provided services at the rate 18 percentage to Vimal in Chandigarh, provided services to Bimal in Patna, provided services at the rate 12% to Komal in Kolkata, provided services at the rate 28% to Kamal in Jalna, and these are the inward supplies at the rate 12% from Akola, at the rate 18% from Bangalore, at the rate 28% from Ranchi, and at the rate 5% from Amaravati. The due date was 20th August, but Mr. Kalpesh made the payment on 25th August. Now, before that, one point you have to keep in mind that the Mr. Kalpesh is registered in Maharashtra. And see, these are his outward liabilities. Okay, so when Pune, Nagpur, this is intrastate supply. So CGST and SGST will come in both the cases. But for the Surat, Chennai, Chandigarh, Patna, Kolkata, all these five uh, supplies will attract the IGST. Okay, and then the provided services at the rate 28% in Jalna. So this will come. This is also so this will come as a intrastate supply, and as CGST and SGST will be levied. On the other hand, the inward supplies Akola and Amravati are within a Maharashtra, so that will attract CGST and SGST. But on the other hand, the Bangalore and Ranchi, both cities are located outside of India, one in Karnataka and another one in uh, the Chhattisgarh, the Jharkhand. So both are outside of Maharashtra state. So it will attract the IGST. Now the payment of GST was on 28th day of August, but it is paid on 25th August. That means 5 days late. So first of all, we have to find out the GST on the outward supply. So see, these are the supplies as I have uh, told you that first two supplies are intrastate. So इसके ऊपर आप 28% CGST and SGST कैलकुलेट करो. When there is a 28% rate and intrastate supply, तो इसको इक्वली आपको कंट्रीब्यूट करना है. जैसे कि फॉर एग्जांपल आपका जो सेल्स है वो है 114 lakhs. तो 14 lakhs के ऊपर एट द रेट 28%, तो उसको 28% आप डायरेक्ट कैलकुलेट कर सकते हो, विच कम्स 3,92,000. उसका हाफ CGST आएगा और हाफ SGST आएगा. तो सिमिलरली वैसे ही आपको जो नेक्स्ट सप्लाई वो एट द रेट 5% है. 16 lakhs का 5% कम्स 80,000, हाफ CGST हाफ SGST. देन इंटरस्टेट सप्लाई जो है वो नेक्स्ट जो है दैट इज यस इन सूरत 17 lakhs एट द रेट 12%. तो उसके ऊपर ये GST आएगा. ओके, 2,04,000. so ये सब IGST आप कंप्यूट कर सकते हो. IGST will come when there is a interstate supply. Next, interstate supply is yes of 92,500 where the services are provided. Okay, so the services are provided yes of rupees 18,50,000 rupees in Patna, that means in Bihar. So for that the IGST will be levied, and the next transaction of rupees 17,80,000, it is also interstate supply, so IGST will be levied. And the last one was in Maharashtra, that means provided services in Jalna. So उसके ऊपर आ जाता है टैक्स आपका ये 22 lakhs के ऊपर 28%, that is 6,16,000, half CGST and half SGST. So these are your total outward liabilities. Towards the IGST, around 13,02,100. Towards CGST, 5,44,000, and SGST, 5,44,000. Total 23,90,100. Now against that, the opening balance is there. This is the opening balance, and then the Mr. Kalpesh has purchased and paid the GST on some inward supplies. So उसके ऊपर का उसको इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट मिलेगा. तो जो भी इंट्रा स्टेट है उसके ऊपर CGST SGST क्रेडिट मिलेगा, और जो इंटर स्टेट है उसके ऊपर IGST मिलेगा. सो उसका जो क्रेडिट है along with the opening balance, that is for the IGST 9,17,600, for CGST and SGST 6,17,020 and 7,12,970. सो ये हो गया आपका टोटल 22,47,590. तो अभी लाइबिलिटी देखो, एज पर दी IGST इट इज 13,02,100 और क्रेडिट कितना है 9,17,600. सो दिस इज liability and this is the credit available, total ITC. So net GST payable is only 3,84,500. We see CGST liability is 5,44,000, but the credit available is 6,17,020. So there is excess credit 73,020 that you can transfer for the payment of IGST. And in the case of SGST, the liability was 5,44,000, and including opening balance, the total input tax credit is 7,12,970. So here also there is a excess credit of rupees 1,68,970. So this credit we can utilize, CGST credit we can utilize for the payment of IGST. Even the SGST credit also we can utilize for the payment of IGST. तो IGST का टोटल लाइबिलिटी कितना बैलेंस है 1,42,510. सो द इंटरेस्ट इज एप्लीकेबल ओनली ऑन नेट लाइबिलिटी. ये जो टोटल लाइबिलिटी है उसके ऊपर नहीं, आफ्टर टेकिंग द इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट. सो 1,42,510 विच इज पेड 5 days लेट, उसके ऊपर 18% इंटरेस्ट आएगा विच विल कम एज अ रुपीज 351. So 351 will be the interest. Okay. So this is the section 50 for the calculation of interest payment. Now we will discuss the next point. Yes. Just a minute. Yes. So just a minute. Just give me 1 minute. So we will discuss the next point. Yes. We'll go to the next point now. That is, sorry. Yes. Now we have discussed the interest on delayed payment. Now we will discuss the tax deduction and tax collection at source. Now a small introduction I had given in the previous lecture. Now see, the TDS means when any supplier supplies goods or services to the recipient. So recipient will pay the consideration along with GST to the supplier, but he will or she or they will deduct the TDS. So TDS refers to the tax which is deducted when the buyer of goods or services, such as government department, makes payments under a business contract. Now, why this system is developed? Its impact on GST is what it involves the more and more suppliers into the GST फ्रेमवर्क. क्योंकि नॉर्मली क्या होता है जब गवर्नमेंट बहुत सारे कॉन्ट्रैक्ट क्या करती है, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलपमेंट्स के कॉन्ट्रैक्टर्स को देती है, तो कॉन्ट्रैक्टर्स के पास और सब कॉन्ट्रैक्टर्स रहते, सब कॉन्ट्रैक्टर और सब कॉन्ट्रैक्टर्स को एक काम आउटसोर्स करते रहते. तो गवर्नमेंट जब आपका पैसा कट करती है तो उसका आपको क्रेडिट तभी मिलेगा अगर आप रजिस्टर्ड सप्लायर हो और टाइमली रिटर्न फाइल करते हो. तो इससे क्या होता है कि ज्यादा से ज्यादा जो कॉन्ट्रैक्टर्स है वो अपने को जीएसटी में रजिस्टर करते हैं. सो हु इज लायबल टू डिडक्ट टीडीएस अंडर जीएसटी? सो अ डिपार्टमेंट और एन एस्टेब्लिशमेंट ऑफ द सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट और स्टेट गवर्नमेंट. जो भी सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट और स्टेट गवर्नमेंट के एस्टेब्लिशमेंट्स हैं, मे बी अ पर्टिकुलर मिनिस्ट्री, local authorities such as gram panchayat, nagar palika, mahanagar palika, governmental agencies, such persons or category of persons notified by the government, maybe the municipal commissioner, public sector undertakings, and so on. So the rate of TDS is 2%. In the case of IGST, it is 2%, and if it is intrastate, then in the case of that 1% CGST and 1% SGST. So if any 1 lakh rupees payment is there, then 2% will be deducted. So the limit is that if the total value of supply under a contract exceeds 2,50,000, then the per person entity TDS will be deducted. So if it is below 2,50,000, then no need to deduct TDS. So whenever the deductor deducts the TDS, he is liable to pay the TDS by the 10th day of the next. यहाँ आप and in the form of GSTR 7. For example, अगर X department of the central government deducts TDS at the rate 2% from Y on 5th March 2021, then they will have to pay or deposit that particular TDS on 10th April 2021. तो जिस मंथ में आप डिडक्ट करते हो उसके नेक्स्ट मंथ के 10 तारीख तक आपको ये पेमेंट करना है ना. जैसे टीडीएस रहता है वैसे टीसीएस भी रहता है. सो एज आई डिस्कस इन अर्लियर लेक्चर आल्सो, टीसीएस इज एप्लीकेबल फॉर द ई कॉमर्स सेक्टर. सो ई कॉमर्स सेक्टर जनरली क्या करते हैं, अपने प्लेटफॉर्म से गुड्स या सर्विसेज जो सप्लायर्स के वो बेचते हैं. सो वेन एवर दे collect the dues from the customer, and when they pay that amount to the suppliers who supplied the goods through their electronic platform to the consumers, they will deduct 1% TCS. ओके, जैसे कि फ्लिपकार्ट, स्नैपडील वगैरह, और वो लोग 1% डिडक्ट करके उनको 10 तारीख के अंदर, नेक्स्ट मंथ के 10 तारीख तक उसको पे डिपॉजिट करना है GSTR 8 फॉर्म में. Now, all the traders or dealers who sells goods or services online would need to get registered. So, compulsory without checking of their threshold limit, चाहे उनका टर्नओवर लेस देन 40 lakhs भी रहेगा तो भी उनको क्या करना है, रजिस्ट्रेशन कंपल्सरी. एक एग्जांपल लेते, मिस्टर विनय is a trader who sells his ready-made clothes online on Amazon India. He receives an order for rupees 10,000 inclusive of tax and commission. Amazon charges a commission of rupees 200. Further, there is a return worth rupees 1,000. So Amazon will therefore need to deduct 1% tax on the amount excluding sales returns, but including the money paid as a commission, that is rupees 200, and GST. So Amazon will thus be deducting TCS on rupees 9,000 at the rate 1%, that is 90 rupees, and they will deposit that amount with the GST authority in GSTR 8. Now, the deductor shall furnish to the deductee a certificate whenever they deduct the tax, mentioning the value rate of deduction within a 10 days after the end of the month. तो अगर आप अप्रैल में डिडक्ट करते हो टीडीएस कौन से भी दिन में, तो मई के 10 तारीख तक आपको सर्टिफिकेट इश्यू करना है. So this is the format for GST 7A, that is the TDS certificate. Okay, and these are the TDS payment due dates. You can read it. Okay, and if you fail to pay the GST on time, and if you file late for the or issue of TDS certificate, then the fine will be 200 rupees per day. Okay, so your payable TDS is 5,000 on 13th May, and you file the return for quarter 1 on 17th November, then there is a delay of 105 days. Okay, so GST is 200, penalty is 200 rupees per day, so 200 into 105, it will come 21,000, but the maximum fine limit under this section is 5,000 rupees. So your late filing fee will be maximum rupees 5,000. So see, this is the interest on late payment of TDS or TCS. So late fees is there, late fees is there, plus interest is also applicable on delayed TDS payment. So thank you. So in the next lecture, we will start the lecture discussion on return filing under GST.